amid calls for transparency after a bitter fight over financial aid. Leaders of the First Baptist Church reveal details on millions in donations for victims of the Sutherland Springs shooting. San Antonio and Austin planners work to ready I-35 for the next population boom. And the health of a defense attorney forces a mistrial for a San Antonio death penalty case.
This capital murder, multiple persons case was going to be the first death penalty case that Bexar County was going to be seeing since Mark Gonzalez, who brutally killed Bexar County Sheriff's Sergeant Kenneth Van.
I'm Chance Dorland with your Express Briefing for Monday, July 9th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. Responding to calls for transparency after a bitter fight over financial aid. Leaders of the First Baptist Church revealed for the first time that nearly $3 million in donations had poured in to assist victims of last year's massacre and their families. After Sunday's church services, Pastor Frank Pomeroy told the congregation during an informal meeting that while $3 million looks like a lot of money, with medical conditions and other items survivors currently face, even donations that large can be used really quick. The reported $2.9 million sent to the church in a charitable spirit have now become a source of contention for a community that was already suffering tremendous loss, following the November 5th shooting that killed 26 and wounded another 20 in what is now labeled the 5th deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Following months of work to sort through the donations and arrange a system for distribution, some victims' family members have questioned church leaders' methods, with community members attacking each other online, while Pastor Pomeroy has appealed for unity. While churches, unlike other tax-exempt nonprofit organizations, are not required to make public their revenue, expenditures, and other financial details. In keeping with IRS requirements, the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs has been distributing aid when survivors and victims' family members submit forms and receipts for expenses related to the shooting, including hospital bills and the cost of renovating homes for disabilities. Find more details on how donation money has been spent, as well as plans for spending the remaining funds at expressnews.com. By 2040, Interstate 35 will run through a San Antonio-Austin metroplex with a population rivaling the Dallas-Fort Worth area's current size. And if nothing major changes by then, near constant gridlock driven by a population boom will bog down what is already one of Texas's most congested highway corridors. To keep I-35 drivable, the San Antonio and Austin area metropolitan planning organizations, made up of local transportation planning entities for urban areas of more than 50,000 people, are coordinating on a budding plan to add a pair of lanes in each direction to some 120 miles of the highway from Bexar to Williamson County. The Texas Department of Transportation has agreed to pitch in $720 million, with one new lane in each direction designated as HOV special purpose that eventually could provide for autonomous vehicles. And a lawyer's injury has prompted a judge to declare a mistrial in what would have been the first capital murder case tried in San Antonio since 2015. Here's San Antonio Express News court reporter Elizabeth Zavala.
Capital murder, multiple persons case involving Brian Flores. He was 33 years old and actually was already in jail on 2 other charges when he was arrested and charged with capital murder, multiple persons, in the deaths of 2 teenagers. The teenagers were allegedly killed over a sex tape that involved Rodriguez and a female. Late last week, a judge declared a mistrial, and the reason was kind of interesting. The lawyer in the case, who's representing Brian Flores, fell down and he hit his head, and he has been not able to help with jury selection, which began a couple of weeks ago.
The mistrial comes as a new Bexar County DA awaits to take over for current District Attorney Nico LaHood.
There is going to be a new district attorney administration that's going to be taking over in Bexar County January 1st of 2018. And that's because Tilden Schaefer is the Republican candidate for Bexar County Criminal District Attorney, and he is going to be facing Joe Gonzalez, who is the Democratic nominee. And there's been some whispering as to whether or not some cases that have been delayed, that, there's a want and a desire to want to have some of this heard in a different administration. So Judge Reed said that she would meet with all parties again for another hearing in this case, but a date has not been mentioned yet.
Hear more details on this and other Bexar County trial updates on today's episode of The Docket, our weekly law and crime podcast available for free download in Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and at expressnews.com/podcasts. And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Monday, July 9th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.